Good morning. So today it is May 17th, 2025. For anybody who's been trying to help me and my family behind the scenes, please, even though I got really frustrated because I got nervous and I had so many dangerous people after me yesterday, so I got out of character. I thought about how dangerous they are and all the hypocrisy in my community, and my tongue went somewhere else because it's just been these past few days has been a testament. Like it been really. It's like it hasn't really been no. It hasn't been any dull moments really. I mean, perhaps except for right now. It's early in the morning in my house, so it's kind of quiet. Um, if I'm gonna be honest, it's been hard to pray the past few days, and then people have been trying to like antagonize me and get the worst type of reactions out of me. It's been very, very difficult to pray. Um, Anyways, let me go ahead and just say what's on my mind. People hate me, and some of them forgot that no matter how you feel about a person, there is no laws on the books anywhere in the United States that says if you work for a certain company, you cannot enjoy an audiobook, you cannot enjoy music, you cannot enjoy movies or whatever, or even in your own home, which is supposed to be the safety and the comfort of your home. You can't watch a show like maybe Game of Thrones. You can't watch Handmaid's Tale. You can't play certain songs. Even if individuals of positions and power of authority who like to abuse their power and authority find your entertainment interests distasteful or disrespectful or whatever. And if I had to take an educated guess, since a lot of these folks, some of them who got connections to different military branches, um, even secret societies in Hollywood and police departments. I mean, if anybody ever heard about the Freemasons, you kind of know how this goes. Even though there's different types of secret society sets, these people got connections to that, and in hindsight, I have a theory that a lot of these guys started showing up at my jobs, but they got so angry with me, when they discovered my entertainment interest. Well, you kind of already know, this is just my theory. You understand what I'm saying? I have theories, even though again, this was my first time being a TI. So it took me a little while to be like, wait a minute, it's a lot of coincidences. That's a lot of coincidences. And later on, I'm sitting at my house watching certain things, and somebody is intentionally making my fire alarm go off whenever I watch specific shows or movies. I'm like, wait a minute, they don't want me watching certain things in my own apartment? And I got gang stalked real bad, and I think it's for a multitude of reasons. So they want me out of here. They want me gone. They don't want me to have anywhere to live. But there's problems with the ledgers. I've already come on and said it. So it went to, they would lie and say they didn't get my rent. Usually I mail them a money order, usually from USPS. So they would try to get me to pay double sometimes. They've been doing this on and off to me for a few years, and I proved that I paid it. And then it went from that to, I was like, wait a minute, my invoice is wrong. And they'd never fix it. Or the last time we settled in court, like and this is just one example, the landlord agreed to take off the court fee on the 3rd of January, but The following month, after we settled, they reinstated the court fee. This is what they do. Or they'll say, oh, we can't find your money order. Da, 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 da. I signed it out to the individuals who own the apartment building where I live. Who else could it has to be an employee for Alpert Group. It cannot be anybody else taking the money and cashing those money orders in, especially USPS money orders. They're federal. They have to work for Alpert Group Development. That's who I signed them out to. So that might be an issue if you want to try to evict me. So they're upset about that, but they're even more upset that I've been in talks as far as legalities is concerned, and I'm in danger. I'm probably in the most danger that I'll ever be in because, well, I have a theory that also since a certain Democrat who I used to support is a big empathizer and sympathizer of one of my exes, and it goes deeper than the things that my ex might have been through, and his history in inappropriate taste and underage black females, and even some of his friends. Because my mother said they used to run trains. That's multiple. That's more than one person. But she said a few times he kept messing around, and she has reason to believe he got a minor pregnant. This is what she told me. Is another reason so many people around here don't like me. Once again, I never even said anything about anybody else. I mean, well, not directly. And if I did say anything indirectly, it's because, well, I wanted people to be neutral. If I had a certain suspicion about them, I'm asking you to be neutral, since I'm being neutral about you. And that also includes no subliminals, no subliminal shade. Yeah, but they didn't want to be neutral. But what makes it worse is when they have certain celebrities and the Illuminati who we know have a similar background, and even certain politicians who started undermining me. They started undermining me. Even certain black male celebrities who I believe are very dangerous, and I think some of them are serial killers. This is why a lot of times when they come out with the fake stories and fake accusations, they'll put it from 1997 or the 1980s, because they're doing two things. They want to sow dissent. They want to redirect a bunch of negative attention back towards me. But what they're also trying to do is say that even if my ex was doing what he was doing, well, it was a long time ago. Even though it wasn't in the 80s or the 90s, it was in the 2000s, sometimes in the 2000s. But I just don't think it stopped there. Even if it stopped happening in that building, I don't think it stopped with certain people. But the point I'm trying to make is also some of the black celebrities, I have reason to believe they have teamed up with people, perhaps in law enforcement, the military, and they've been getting revenge and blood, if you know where I'm going. And so you gotta think about it. These folks in positions of power and authority, they really, really don't like taking accountability for anything wrong that they do. So let's just say if somebody is trying to get legislation passed or open up investigations or even civil and criminal lawsuits on some of the things that started happening around 2017, there's a high probability that certain bigoted folks in law enforcement and positions of power and authority might hypothetically throw some of these folks under the bus. Like the gang stalkers, the flying monkeys, and hey, even they might start throwing certain famous individuals or public figures who uh, who are a very serious threat to me and my loved ones, they might start throwing them under the bus. So everybody decided recently to get together and to, I guess, take me down. And I got overwhelmed yesterday because he was everywhere yesterday. Some of them are paranoid because they understand that folks from alphabet agencies don't, you know what I'm saying? They're not gonna snitch on each other. They it's very very hard to uh get justice when they start abusing their power, whether they retired or not. And as you can see, it's being made even more difficult. It's being made even more difficult. And even on this platform, on the YouTube medium, it's like certain dangerous men are allowed to make money either on YouTube or other social media platforms. They're allowed to thrive and make money. Meanwhile, because YouTube allowed that stuff to get out of hand, and apparently black women are not supposed to clap back when people are being disrespectful, or even if they start threatening certain types of black females, we're not supposed to clap back. So certain people are thriving and making money, and some black women became victims of domestic terrorism, and I think some of them actually died as a result. You don't hear about it though, because they don't. A lot of them don't look exotic, and they don't have millions or billions of dollars, so nobody cares. Like they don't care about some of the black females around here that are either missing, like Nikita Williams, or just died mysteriously. In so many ways, we're on our own. I'm looking at all the assembly women and Congress women and even on a local level, Congresswoman. It's interesting. Like a lot of them are of African descent, and I can't recall them ever trying to get a hate crime bill for black women. And black women can use a hate crime bill, most definitely. People talking about truth and da-da-da. They don't mean none of that. Morals, integrity, they don't mean none of that. These are the same people that they want to say the N-word a million times and all these other offensive things. And they want the right to be able to work and not be turned into a social pariah or get sued or go to jail. Meanwhile, listen, if you got a channel and you clap back, or not even you, your fans could clap back at some haters. All types of people could come after you. Folks from secret societies, them COINTEL government people, like they could crack down on you and your platform and they can go after certain fans. And seemingly they can do these things seemingly with impunity. This is something that I actually seen back when YouTube didn't really have any serious oversight. Somebody got mad because people started being hateful on certain channels, and then certain fans started clapping back at the hateful people, not understanding the magnitude of what was really going on and how sinister things, not understanding how deep the rabbit hole really goes. So you thinking, hey, this is a hater, we gonna clap back. Da-da-da. You don't know about being a targeted individual. You don't know about, you know what I'm saying? The same way, like, hey, after I went hard in the paint for Trayvon Martin online and other black people that got murdered, I started getting invited to parties. Freemasons started inviting me to the lodges. But prior to that, I didn't know anything about no secret society. I had to do research. Okay? And everybody is not on the same level. So I have a reason to believe that even when it comes to Freemasons, the lower level people, they don't know what the higher ups got going on. And from everything that I've heard about, you know, many secret societies, the more high ranking you are, it means you have a lot of sacrifices. The more dangerous you are. Even when I worked at Amazon, I made the mistake of telling certain people that, yeah, the Freemasons used to invite me to parties, whatever. And I realized, and then all of a sudden, certain people wearing red hats showed up, and some of them was from the military. I just thought it was very inappropriate to wear the red hat on the floor. And they had banners. They had the you know the Freemason. It has the G, and it has the compass on top of the G. It's like it shapes almost like a star. Like there's that part right there, and then it got the upside down. It got the compass thing, and right there in the center is the G. But once again, at the time I was real ignorant. I don't know what that meant. So I think this guy probably was like a 33rd degree Mason or whatever. Whatever. I soon realized that he really, really hates black people. And I don't know how many people from Avenel, New Jersey, who are, may have gotten dragged in certain things in 2017, 2018. I'll never know the full scope of how bad this got. But even in my own home, where I'm supposed to have the freedom to listen to audiobooks and music and movies and play video games, apparently, I think that was a problem too. So even if certain people, when they get mad, like, yeah, how dare you play this and that when you worked in the security booth, when you worked for Ally Universal, or why would you play my song? Listen, it wasn't where I was at. It was that I played it. It was that once upon a time I was a fan of certain public figures and certain celebrities. Again, some of the more high-ranking celebrities. I have reason to believe that once I fell out of the good graces of a certain Democrat who, and this is a big-time Democrat too, me and him had a bad falling out a little while ago. And even before that, certain people in positions of power and authority, most notably civil servants, they didn't like the fact that not long after my mother died, I didn't shut up about black girls getting slammed on their head in classrooms. And how I think it's interesting that they're almost always extremely dark, usually with full features and 4C, kinky, or nappy hair. And sometimes I was the only one really doing the most for girls that look like that. So when these people around here physically assault me or frame me and I'm gone, y'all, I think dark-skinned females are going to start to understand. Nobody's going to, listen, reputation be damned. Nobody really going to help y'all like me. And I hate to even take it there, but if you're dark-skinned, right, and you ever dealt with other colorless black people, well, you kind of already got a taste of what it's like to deal with a racist person with black skin, or it's like if they had black skin. You kind of and it ain't just how I got a job. Some of this hatred has been going on in the black community since forever. Since forever. We talked about this so many times on Facebook groups for black women and on YouTube about how a lot of black people hate dark-skinned black women, and some of them know how to be very, very discriminatory and bigoted and prejudiced and even violent. Remember the other day when I said there was times where when I was a young adult or a teenage girl, sometimes I felt a better camaraderie with non-black or white females who didn't have a primal hatred of black people or black women. Or they didn't have a weird, inappropriate competition thing going on with black women. Since I know that a lot of them probably get approached by brothers and told, "Oh, you so pretty," and you da 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 da, and put them on pedestals, faux pedestals. Later on, they tear those pedestals down, but that's a different conversation for another day. But unfortunately, and a lot of times, they don't know how to just compliment these non-black women. They'll put them on a pedestal and boost their heads up, and but they'll also bring black women down in the process. They'll talk about how black women are loud, too masculine, not all that physically appealing, or whatever. Instead of just complimenting these non-black women, instead of just focusing on what they what they like. Excuse me. Focusing on what they like. When I say weird competition with black women or whatever. And for people that might be like, yo, why you just can't chill or whatever? Because they won't let me. They will not let me. And certain people, whether it was like a friends with benefits thing or a relationship that became abusive, from my past, they decided a few years ago to become domestic terrorists. I don't know if I said it, but another thing that kind of stressed me out is how I had doctors playing games with me at different hospitals, and my biopsy don't look too good. I'm not afraid of death. I don't like the idea of a dog getting sick on me, or people jumping me, or somebody choking me to death behind bars. But I'm not afraid of death. Death is probably right around the corner anyway with these biopsy results. That's why when I got angry, I said, why don't y'all kill me outside real quick? Or come inside the Dollar Tree. I was in the Dollar Tree in Union, and the people that work in there, on and off for a few years, they've been down with my targeting. And there's been times where I wasn't always a respectful customer. I'm not going to get too specific, but it's like some of the people that work in there are like, I think some of them got connections to, you know what I'm saying? People in positions of power and authority who often abuse their power and authority. These people can be so intrusive. They'll find out your favorite laundromat, supermarket, and certain stores you frequent, and they'll set up shop. They might be watching the cameras or whatever. And so they'll turn that business into a hot spot for gang stalkers and flying monkeys. Like the other day, these two kids was following me around being extremely disrespectful. And I think they had a parent or a guardian on the phone. Because now what they're trying to do, because I'm not supposed to talk about colorism in the black community, specifically as it impacts black females of a darker hue. Apparently, I'm not supposed to talk about that. So they're criminalizing me, but they're, again, when I say this goes deep and it's beyond how I got a job and whether or not I'm lying, right? Tell me why recently certain females of African descent have also begun hunting me down with very, very young sons, to the point where I'm over here researching the legalities and seeing what I can do legally about this. And all this proves is that years ago, when I was a little girl, and I used to have a fear of my community attacking me, or black boys eventually becoming domestic terrorists, and working with non-black people to attack black females. I don't know if it's a psychic capability thing. Years ago, my fears have come to fruition. So I wasn't being too sensitive as a dark-skinned girl. No, I was ahead of the curve. I saw how dangerous that was when hardly nobody else saw how dangerous it was in this community. And we talked about this before I became a TI. Some of these things have been happening way before. I talked about it briefly and candidly. Arts High, I started seeing it. I started seeing it in Arts High. I said, these boys are going to get somebody dark-skinned daughter or niece or mother or auntie. They're going to get them targeted, and they might even get them killed. The ones who have the propensity to attack dark-skinned black females with non-black people is incredibly dangerous. But because most black people see dark-skinned girls as mules, like a mule, like that you know how stubborn mules are, and a burden, and not the most conventionally attractive. They don't care about people inciting violence and domestic terrorism to most dark-skinned black girls. All they really care about is their sons, they and other black males in the community. They care about their well-being and their safety. They also think they should have the right to be hateful to black women, especially dark-skinned black females. And in the same breath, they want those dark-skinned black females to always protect them, especially if it's some type of race thing going on. This is how most black people in this community think. So even if their sons are toxic and dangerous and disrespectful, black females, especially dark-skinned black females, low-key, they feel like because we have the biological capability to recreate black sons, we owe them by default. We owe them protection by default. When I say protection, I mean as it pertains to white supremacy and racism. We supposed to get out there and fight for them by default. Or we supposed to, if it's music they make, we supposed to buy it. Or, if they're an athlete, we supposed to support, or movies they got going on, we supposed to support them by default. Even if they can't stand us and don't know how to hide it. Even if they can't stand us and think it's funny for people to attack dark-skinned girls. Most black people, they want one-sided loyalty and love and support. And they can be incredibly dangerous when you feel like or you tell dark-skinned girls, y'all need to drop the capes. Not necessarily for everybody that's black, but for the ones who are blatantly hateful and toxic and disrespectful in colors. Blatantly. I don't know how much time I got. I'm at the 27 or 28 minute mark. My phone might stop my video abruptly. Because my phone don't like me to do long videos, but I've been tired. And it's looking like I'm on my own. But I'm trying to get some type of legislation passed. I don't think people should be harassed because they like certain audiobooks, video games, movies, TV shows, or songs